Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mike Armstrong podcast show. And this afternoon or this evening, in Todd's time, I'm joined by Todd Sullivan, who is a horror and a fantasy author. And he's originally from Louisiana, but currently living in Taiwan. And how are you doing today, Todd?
I'm doing pretty well. It's a bit hot, but I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah, well, it's probably, well, actually, we're having a bit of a hot day today, but probably 20 degrees C, whatever that is in
Uh,
Fahrenheit. But, I'm sure it's a lot hotter where you are.
It's a bit hot, yeah, but it's okay. No problem.
Yeah, good. And obviously, the first place I usually like to start with people is about lockdown because it's the thing that all sort of businesses, entrepreneurs, authors have had to be dealing with. So, how has the lockdown been for you? And have you done any sort of particular changes in your life or your business during that time?
Actually, here in Taiwan, there wasn't much of a lockdown. They started tackling the problem more or less as soon as it began because it started in China and we're right by China.
Yeah.
And so, like back in January, they started making sure that things were sterilized, they were clean, people were wearing masks. They closed schools for a month and a half. And as a result, the coronavirus didn't spread very much. So there was never really a lockdown in Taiwan. So I hadn't really experienced the same thing that other people are experiencing actually when it comes to the lockdown.
Okay, so your experience of lockdown and your understanding of it then, do you take in global news or American news where you are?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I watch news all the time. Plus, I have family in the U.S., so I talk to them all the time. So I mean, I know what's going on in the rest of the world.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. So yeah, I don't know because with you being an author, and I thought maybe you lock yourself away and just writing all the time and don't really care about the outside world because I myself I don't watch too much news because I'm podcasting all the time and then I'm on social media and doing Zoom networking events and stuff, and I don't really like to listen to too much negativity anyway because it starts infiltrating your brain and making you think differently. So I was wondering if you'd managed to catch up with quite a bit of the news and knew what was going on, or whether you've just been sort of writing away, sort of thing.
No, I watch a lot of news. I read a lot of news. So I definitely know what's going on. I definitely know that the lockdown has kind of sucked for everyone else. So yeah, I know.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. And tell us a little bit about the book series that you've written and what they're all about and that sort of thing, and how people can engage with them.
So it's actually two novella series. One is fantasy. It's called The Windshine Chronicles, and the other one is vampire series of extreme horror, and it's horror. And the for the fantasy, the first one is called Halloween, which came out last year. The second one is called There Will Be One, and then for the vampire series, the first one is called Butchers, and the second one is called The Gray Man Smoking Shadows.
Okay. And where do people get the books from? Are they on all good online sort of online book sites, Amazon, places like that?
Yeah, I mean, Amazon is the easiest way. It's international, but each of these countries, like Korea, Japan, Taiwan, China, they have their Amazon version, and so you can also get it from their Amazon version. But yeah, Amazon is most likely the easiest and most reliable way for an English speaker to get it.
Yeah. And do you have audio versions as well? Have you done any of that?
I'm sorry, one more time.
Have you done any audio versions or recorded any of the books for audio?
No, I haven't. I mean, that might be a year from now. I've actually had someone ask me about that. He's a truck driver in Louisiana, I believe. And he was very interested in having the books on audio since he's like driving all over the country. But yeah, as of now, that actually hasn't happened. Maybe in the next year, in 2021.
Yeah, because I think audio is a big market these days now. I think a lot of people like to listen when they're out for a run or in the car or the van, when they're traveling and they're exercising, going out for on a bike. That's when I listen to a lot of audio. So I think it would be a good way of repurposing your content and reusing it elsewhere to other audiences.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I have two publishers, and it's kind of up to them to kind of get the ball rolling. And as of now, it hasn't really been much of I guess, one of their objectives yet. So basically, I kind of have to wait for them in order to get that going.
Yeah, okay. And obviously you're originally from Louisiana in the States, you said. So what took you to Taiwan?
Actually, it's been I did a couple of things between that. So I left Louisiana like when I was 18, and then from Louisiana to a place in America called Atlanta. From Atlanta to New York, and then after New York, I was in Korea for 10 years. And after Korea, I came here to Taiwan, and I've been in Taiwan for like 8 months.
Okay. So what's it like as an American and being used to America, an American way of life? What's that like going to, where was it before Taiwan? Malaysia,
Korea.
Korea. So what was it like going to Korea and then to Taiwan from the States?
It's there's definitely some adjusting you have to do. I mean, like America, like a lot of other Western countries, are fairly uh, like a melting pot. There's a lot of different cultures, a lot of different ethnicities, a lot of different races. Whereas here, in Korea, it's like 90% Korean. Here in Taiwan, it's probably 90% Taiwanese. Same thing in Japan. So I think I'm a bit more used to being around people from different cultures. And plus, when I lived in New York, I lived in a place called Flushing, which is actually a Korean town. It was actually coincidental. I didn't plan on moving to that part of New York. And so when I was living in New York, I actually went to Korean restaurants. The people around me spoke Korean, like around on the street. And then in my apartment building on the first floor was a Korean church. So I had some exposure to Korea for the 3 years I was living in New York, even before I went there.
Yeah. Is that what attracted you to Korea then? Because you were sort of surrounded by it in New York?
No, I was aiming for Japan. When I did like a winter semester, like maybe 3 weeks in Tokyo, doing my master's program. And I was trying to go back to Tokyo, but this is like 11 years ago. Japan doesn't hire a lot of English teachers. They don't import a lot of culture. So actually, it's just very hard even now to get a job teaching English in Japan. But 11 years ago, it was extremely easy to get a job in Korea. And so that's why I ended up in Korea.
Okay, yeah. So it was more fate than choice.
It was ease. Yeah, I guess fate, but also just, I mean, like recruiters were just funneling a lot of people into Korea. So, I was one of the people that got caught up in that.
Yeah, and obviously making a career or a living as an author can be tough. Do you solely make your career as an author, or do you do something else?
I wish I did. No, I'm an ESL teacher here. So I teach English as a second language, which
Okay, so you're not
covers,
doing the teaching,
uh,
you're doing the teaching around the writing.
right, yeah. So I teach English as a second language here.
Yeah, okay. So of the books and the book series, have they made some commercial success?
Limited commercial success. I mean, they've been reviewed fairly well. You can find a lot of reviews about each of the books online. But I mean, it's been limited commercial success. It hasn't been anything I'm gonna like brag about now. But it hasn't been also no commercial success. So I guess it's just like limited commercial success.
Do you have like social media groups and pages and that for the books so that people can engage with you and all that sort of thing?
I do. I mean, I promote constantly. So if you Google my name, you'll find really quite a lot of stuff now about me online. So I do a lot of podcasts, a lot of blogs, a lot of interviews. There are booktubers who have done reviews of my book. So it's like, I'm now a lot more online than I was definitely a year ago.
Yeah. So you're hustling the books, you're hustling the brand and the personal brand and all of that.
I do. A lot of my day is actually making contacts, looking for different ways to promote, speaking to people. That's basically a lot of my day.
Yeah, yeah, good, good. I'm an ex-corporate sales director, and I'm a current podcast, social media influence, digital market. I run a digital marketing agency. I'm in all of that space. That's why, I usually like to ask people a little bit about what they're doing marketing-wise and that, because occasionally I can give them an idea that they're not doing. So yeah, I think what I would probably do if I was trying to get a book well known, because podcasting is a great platform. I'd probably go on and just do episodes, read a chapter or something or a page, and try and use that as a tempter, put a link in, and drive people to the link where they can download the whole book?
Yeah, actually, the Mokum in my press, my fantasy publisher, has started doing something like that. But again, I take not all my cues, but I try to take some cues from them, like let them get the ball rolling, and then I kind of go along. So, but yeah, they have actually started having on YouTube and then links of their different authors reading, and then reading like an excerpt from the book itself. And then you can follow the link and actually, see more of the book or something along those lines.
Yeah, because a friend of mine's written a networking book. I wrote a book at the beginning of lockdown, but I haven't published it yet. And I've got a load of books in me, so I'm going to write a load of books at some point. And then I'm going to speak about the subject matter of the books and create seminars and all that sort of stuff. But a friend of mine wrote a networking book a while ago, and she gave a lot of her books away as part of her membership fee for the network, etc. But she also got a busy website that attracts a lot of traffic, and she does the get the first chapter for free download, and then you get the email address, and then they use that email address to market the book too.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a plan. I mean, I'll definitely shoot that to the publisher and think of it on my own too. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good idea.
Yeah, it definitely works for them. They got a massive, they just collected a massive database already, and they only had this pop-up on their website a few months ago, and they've already collected loads and loads of email addresses, which are all people they can market not just the book to, but also anything else that they do. Obviously, they run a networking organization and a business expo, so that data becomes very valuable when you can upsell lots of different things to them.
Right. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm on a mission myself to become a global speaker, which is why I'm going to write a load of I want to write some best-selling books, because that's the best way to get into the global speaking market.
Okay. Well, I wish you much success.
Yeah, cheers. I've written a book. I haven't published it yet because it's a bit political, because it's my life story, and I haven't okayed some of the stuff I've said with the people I've said it about yet.
Yeah, I mean, I stay away from politics actually, but I mean, I do wish you success with it. I hope it all
Yeah,
goes out.
I stay away from politics, but it's just political, as in family politics, or mostly political between what I've written about my ex-wife. I've got to okay it with her first.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, again, I wish you much success.
Yeah. Cheers for that. Cheers for that. So, so other than the teaching and the writing, anything else you got going on at the moment?
At the moment, no. It's basically teaching, writing, promoting. These are, for the past 8 months, this is what I spent the bulk of my time doing. So, speaking to as many people as I can, and then writing also, and then teaching. That's been my life for the past basically 8 months.
Yeah, fair enough. So you're going to stay in Taiwan or in the Far East forever? Is that the plan, or are you going to go back to the States at some point, or what's the long-term sort of plan?
I'll be here for, everything has changed because of coronavirus. Like I had ideas of what I was going to be doing, but now that's all changed. So I'll probably be here for at least the next year, probably maybe the next 2 years, but at least the next year.
Yeah. Okay, it's quite a unusual route that you've taken, isn't it, for people from the States? I would say, not many people. Well, people end up in like Hong Kong and Shanghai and Bangkok and stuff, but not so many in Korea and Taiwan and whatever. From what I know, but maybe you know differently,
No, they are it's a fairly healthy English teaching community in Asia. So they don't stay for long. Like staying for 11 years is somewhat unusual. Most of them are fresh out of university. They're looking for an adventure, and they come here for like maybe 1 to 3 years, and they go back home. That's the general route that most of the English teachers here take. But it's not really all that. It's common enough. I mean, you do find you do find a lot of English teachers wandering around this part of the world actually.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I would have thought like you'd have people for a year or whatever, like the backpackers and the people who do a bit of English to get by because they want to stay backpacking longer or they want to stay in a place for a while. But yeah, I don't know. I've never been to the Far East, so it's just, I suppose, what I see and hear on the news and about other people and stuff. I've been most of the world, but I haven't been to the Far East,
Actually, English teaching is big business here, and there's a lot of regulations. So they try to make it restricted as much as possible to like the official places you can teach English. So it's fairly restricted. I mean, regulated actually.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, is there anything else? Oh, I think I asked you, is there anything else you got going on at the moment? And you said there's pretty much just the teaching, the writing, and just holding on to the end of coronavirus.
Right. Yeah. There's really nothing else. I mean, that's basically what I've been doing for several months now.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, well, yeah, I usually get people to tell everyone how they can get in touch with you if they need to get in touch with you. Obviously, you've already covered how they can get in touch with your books and download them. But how do they get in touch with you if they want to connect with you, or if they want to get you on a podcast, or chat with you about helping you with publishing your books, whatever they might want to get in touch with you for?
I am on Facebook. I'm active on Facebook, active on Twitter, and active on Instagram. So if you just do my name, Todd, Todd Sullivan, Sullivan, you should find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And then especially if you do my name plus the name of the books. So for the fantasy series, Hollow Men, and the second one is There Will Be One. And for the horror series, Butchers, and the second one is called The Great Man Smoking Shadows, then you will actually quite easily find me now.
Yeah, and how would you sort of summarize the book series? What would you sort of, to try and entice someone to want to go and search them out? What would you describe them as, for people out there who don't know, much about them?
The vampire series is it's about having a very bad job. So if anyone's ever had like a really, really bad job, then that's basically the what the vampire series is about. It's these vampires who basically have a terrible job for life. And then the fantasy series is about struggling to reach your goals, and the goals have to be pretty high because that's the idea behind the quest. But yeah, so it's for people who have these very significant things they're trying to accomplish, and then the people who succeed, and then the many people who fell along the way. So that's basically the fantasy series.
Okay, yeah, and when you're not teaching English and writing the books, what else do you like to do in your sort of spare time, if and when you get any?
When I was in Korea, I did martial arts called Kendo, which is a sword fighting martial arts that started in Japan. And I did that for 9 years when I was in Korea. Here in Taiwan, I actually don't do much because it's just, even though they didn't lock down, you still have to walk around with a mask a lot of times. And it's really hot here, and there's still a bit of social distancing. So I just really haven't been in the mood for that kind of thing. So here in Taiwan, I actually don't do much. But in Korea, I used to go out a lot. Korea has a fantastic nightlife. They did have a fantastic nightlife. And I did the martial arts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you used to get out and enjoy it a bit more then, but now you're doing the same as everyone else and just staying in and watching Netflix or whatever.
Right. I'm a lot less active here in Taiwan than when I was in Korea. But
Yeah.
then I spoke some Korean too, and that makes it easier. I mean, here I don't speak any Mandarin, so that makes it more difficult.
Yeah, fair enough. You can't interact so much, but they do a lot of manufacturing in Thailand as well. So, have you come across anything which you've thought about as an entrepreneur or something? Maybe selling to the US or selling around the world that they're making it over there?
I haven't, but they do a lot of manufacturing. There's a lot of warehouses in Taiwan. There are really a lot of warehouses, now that you mention it. But I have not, no, I haven't, no. But it's actually a good idea. There are a lot of them.
Yeah, it would be a good idea because loads of stuff has "Made in Taiwan" written on it. So they must be sometimes going on a few tours and finding out what people are making, and if they're making it for cheap enough that you can get a good margin on it and sell it in the States or sell it on eBay or whatever, Amazon, but in the States, yeah, then sometimes you can get, nice margin on those stuff. Well, that's probably what I'd be doing. That's the entrepreneur in me. I'd be looking all over the place trying to find where I could buy cheap and sell on,
Yeah, my mind, it wasn't even a thought that crossed my mind. So, I mean, I think about it a little bit, but that's probably a bit outside. I don't know. It's something I hadn't even thought about. So that is something to now ponder.
Yeah, well, there we are. Well, good luck. And if you make yourself millions, then remember the guy who gave you the idea.
I will. I'll remember you. That's true.
Yeah, brilliant. All right then. Well, we'll stay connected on social media and all that. And if you want to tag me in on any promotions you're ever doing or whatever, I'm always happy to share that to my audience, which used to be a UK audience, but it's starting to get some good traction globally now since the start of the lockdown and the coronavirus. So I've gone online, and I used to do a lot of real world networking, but I'm mostly networking online now. So places like the Facebook group where we met, and I do a lot of LinkedIn, and obviously a podcast, and I'm on all socials really, and YouTube and everything. So connect with me and like some of my stuff, and I'll like some of yours, and we'll help each other's marketing information go further then.
I definitely will. I mean, I spread everything I do. I spread pretty wide. That's why you can find a lot of information about me online. So I definitely will spread this podcast as far as I can.
Yeah, brilliant. And if I come across any other podcasters, which I do quite a lot, and then interested in authors and fantasy and all of that, or just like me, just like to have a chat with entrepreneurs and various different people, then I can spread the word and let them know that you're available to come on and chat.
I definitely appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all. So yeah, thanks very much for coming on the podcast, and just have a great day. Really,
All right. Thank you for having me. Goodbye.
no problem. And there's nothing else left for me to say now other than have a great day. I know I will. And thanks very much for listening. Cheers. Bye bye.